Work for me. Let's go. Let's get it.
There we go. Now we're good. Hey, listen, if your joint goes out,
Oh my
listen,
gosh.
it doesn't even matter, bro. Just fight the good fight. We'll get in. Just tough it out. You did last week. I was proud of you, man. I said, man, look, he toughed it out. I thought you were gonna be like, man, I ain't coming back, fellas. But you, you
I
made it
was
back in time,
close.
but it's all good.
I was close.
Now we've all been there. That's why I was like, look, man, just do what you can, bro. Don't even sweat it. All right, I guess I might as well go ahead and just get started because the red light is on and we are back for another episode of the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. And tonight's show is all about nostalgia. Are we here for it? Are we done with it? Goldberg has returned, and he returned to a crazy pop, as the boys say. The applause roared out the arena. And it made me wonder, are we as fans over this nostalgic act? Because there seems to be two trains of thoughts. You have the ones at home saying, goodness gracious, Goldberg is back. But then you got the people in the arena go, Goldberg, Goldberg. So Goldberg is back. He called a shot against the new world heavyweight champion. And tonight the brothers have to dive into the conversation of, is Goldberg still over as ever in 2025? Is he? Is he not? Who knows? We're going to find out right after this. Let's get it.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes! What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?
Oh, yeah. All the way from the car. Welcome to the Wrestling Realm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, I'm your host, the realness himself, the real Dwayne Allen, in the building tonight. And he is your host, Mr. Super Producer, Brother Hugh, A to the A to the S, T to the A to the E, 3 to the R to the D, as the third is in the building. And he is your host. Not just any guy, but Brandon the Guy is not in the building. And we will tell you exactly why. And he is your host. The man, the myth, the legend, the man who was starting the show from his car, but is going to end in his studio. Mr. Steal Your Goddamn Show, the founder, the creator of the Wrestling Realm, the man who described it yours truly,
Hollywood!
Brian H. Waters. I tried to get that all in one breath, and it just turned like a blue bat. It's all right, though. It's okay. But we are back. We are here for another edition of the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. Welcome, good brothers. How are we feeling this week? We got a lot of nostalgia going on. We've been having a lot of nostalgic conversations, and we're going to see if nostalgia is still the end thing in 2025. But how are you guys feeling today? What's the word?
I'm good. We lost, but I'm good.
I could tell. I didn't know how you were going to be today.
Brother.
What? 8-run
I
lead,
know.
bruh. Okay. All right. I
Yeah,
digress.
no, it's cool. No, listen, you have every right to lament, brother. I mean, have you? It's almost time. Pretty soon it's time to go to the park, right? Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the game. It's almost park season, right? It's time for us to get ready for the game. That's fine.
Yeah,
we
I'm
got to
with
be
it.
there
I'm
for
with it.
Brother Hugh. We have to be there for Brother Hugh this season because this might be a long season. Brian H, you'll get over it, but Brother Hugh, man,
Yeah,
he be on a.
I'll be depressed
easy.
for days,
That
bro.
right
Like,
there, losing an 8-run lead. I kid you not, right? They went up 8-0. I said, there's no way they're losing this game. I'm almost guaranteed they're going to win this game. I said, because 8 runs is okay. And it was one point I'm listening, the base is loaded. They got out of the jam, right? I said, all right, you get out of that. Like, if they slow walk them down, they're going to, like, stop the bleeding, right? No! But it's all good. Look, the 8-run lead is you asked me how my week has been. That's how it's been. Just stuff all over the place. Somebody just threw a cigarette butt that just hit my window. I could tell out their car. Yeah, it's one of those days. It's one of those weeks where I'm crawling. to vacation, bro. A much needed vacation.
Hey, listen.
Somebody threw a cigarette butt at your window.
You said that to the wrong person. I don't know why
Yeah,
you
bro.
even
Like
gave
I
that
seen him throw it
information.
out
It reminds me of that trip back from New Jersey when we got
Bruh.
egged.
We got egged. We got egged.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Well,
No,
now
that
that you
was
know how the
terrible.
weather's
Like
doing,
we just. How is you
gets
doing,
egged.
realness?
Man, listen, I'm here.
Please tell me. Please tell me you're having a better week.
I am, man. Listen, I haven't got any cigarettes thrown in my car, and my teams haven't lost. Well, technically the Orioles have, but I'm a bandwagon guy. So, so when we winning, I'm all for it. When we're losing, I'll stick with you, but just not publicly. So I think I'm having a solid week.
Wait, the
compared to
real
you
question
brothers.
is,
Mhm.
here's the real question.
Here's the real question.
Jeannie done sold the Lakers. Are you staying with the Lakers?
Yeah, I'm good because she has retained 15% ownership still. She's still the governor of the organization. So Jeannie cashed out. She can call me, man. We can talk business. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she's got a yacht or two. So
I love me some Jeannie Buss.
Oh yeah, it's like 60 years old.
And I say
Doesn't
that
look
respectfully, not the
No, I don't care.
Not at all.
She's not.
Not
Jeannie
at all.
Buss is 60 years old. That doesn't make any sense at all. But goodness gracious, that's what life in Hollywood would do to you.
Are we gonna
But
call Phil Jackson the official bag fumbler?
oh yeah, big time.
Did
You
Phil
kidding?
Jackson like? Are we gonna official bag? Okay.
My man Jay Moore has come up. He's goes from comedian to marrying Jeannie Buss. Are you kidding me? It's okay.
Right. Yeah.
We will always be Lakers guys for life. I don't know what this looks like as far as the what happens with the team. I heard Luka got short notice, but who knows? We will see how this plays out. But $10 billion
Wait,
ain't
Luka
shabby
got
to
short
give up
notes.
control.
Oh,
What the ESPN had highlighted,
right.
the organization you used to work for. They said, it was he found out on short notice. It's not like he, was privy to what was going on. He kind of found out. I don't want to say last minute, but they used the term short notice. So
Right.
I'm just saying. So the Chiefs having a better week than all of us at this point. You talking about $10 billion?
I don't know, man.
That's a lot of goddamn
Jeannie,
money.
I'm like your third cousin once removed, right?
See, we're on the same wavelength. We family. Yeah, we family. We just got to reconnect somewhere, some way in our ancestry. It might not be a positive connection, but I'm sure we might be somewhere down the line.
That's crazy.
They might owe us some restitutions.
We can settle.
Reparations.
Restitution.
Reparations. Oh my goodness! Speaking of restitutions and reparations, I don't know how that even connects to the next segue, but you know what time it is at this point in the show. It is officially Wednesday when we record this, which means something happened the day before Wednesday. So on Tuesday, we were privy to, of course, the one, the only championship culture. You know the sound. Here we go. I hope people just think that new party segment is like supposed to be there. I might start playing that first and then playing the actual intro. But
do your thing.
Of course, if you heard that of course means that we are here to talk about championship culture, which we have gracefully entered into season 4, episode 2?
Yes.
All right.
First one was a bonus.
Okay, so that's right, because we had a 2-parter to start the season off, which is a bonus episode. Right. But of course, we're here to talk about championship culture, episode 2 of season 4, featuring Brandon the Guy the Belt King, and his super producer, Brother Hugh, has the third. Now, because Brandon the Guy is not here, we have to officially announce once again. The last time he wasn't here, we told the world what he was doing, and we feel like now it's probably best to do the same thing as we did last time, because we're a transparent group over here. We like to stay connected with the fans out there because we're fans too. And it's important for people to, to be able to know what type of individuals we are. So Brandon the Guy is not on the show tonight. He is actually in Venezuela. He is repairing the swamps for displaced horned frogs due to flooding. So once again, shout out to Brother Guy. Yeah, Horn Frogs.
Horn Frogs.
Horn Frogs. Yes. So shout out to Brother Guy once again. His humanitarian efforts, his missions work across the world. Such a global brother. He was off the coast of Nicaragua last time, and now he's in Venezuela. Like I said, trying to rebuild these swamps for these displaced horn frogs due to some flooding. So he will not be here with us. So of course, Brother Hugh, you can steer the ship today. So you can tell us what this episode of Championship Culture was all about.
Well, Brother Guy is not here tonight, but guess what? I found out that he got a box in the mail. And you know what that means. It's a new belt day. Yes, it's a new belt day. So he took time out of his busy schedule to break down the TNA International Championship. Took a closer look, dive deep into why he got it. He gave you reasons why he got that belt and had to add it to his collection. And all I got to say about it is it's a beautiful belt. I would say if you want to learn more about that specific belt, I would look at last night's episode, and I will also tune into our first episode where we had Hellfire Designs, the designer of that particular belt and its brothers and sisters, the TNA championships. And he gave us quite a bit of background information on the design process of those titles. So yeah, that's what we talk about.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the new TNA International Championship. Brother Guy's racking up on all the freaking TNA belts, isn't it? He's going down the line. First,
yes, he is.
Tag title, world title. Don't think we didn't notice you got one too, brother. We noticed with the
what you
world
talking
title.
About?
Now you got last week.
Oh yeah, I got yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, you got everybody. The pressure was on because Zigzag was champion. It was like, well, you have to get it now.
Absolutely.
But yes,
had to get it signed.
Of course, the TNA International Championship. Man, this is going to follow us into an unpopular opinion. You could only imagine why, but it's okay. But of course, like I said, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. YouTube.com/The Wrestling Realm playlist Championship Culture. That's where you can find every episode of Championship Culture. And this episode was no different. This is a shorter episode. There's a different feel to it because every time a new belt comes in, there's always time for fresh unboxings. Open it up, give you details, talk about some things. Of course, the guy always tells you what he likes, what he doesn't like. But guess what? It's now time for the realness to give his 2 cents. Because
like the blue strap, it matches the water with the red stone. Just one big red stone. It doesn't necessarily have to have a tip, but if it has a tip, it works.
Why does it sound like Brother Guy impersonating Donald Trump? But yes. Because I'm trying to keep my composure. Because if I can't be on the show, I say, you know what? I'm going to take my notes and I'm going to follow up on the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. Because guess what? I got notes. And there you have it. You heard the yippee and you heard the paper being thrown. Here's you, Brian H. I'm sorry. I know you're on the road. Still got to deal with it later. Sorry. I feel bad doing it, but I feel like I have to do it. It's peer pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peer pressure from the listeners. But yes, I do have notes about the TNA International Championship. Now, the TNA International Championship, there's a conversation that's going to come out when it comes to mid-card championships that I, myself, and Brother Guy will have to have publicly. But before that conversation, it's fun to explore these other titles that have so much meaning, especially to the lineage of these companies that are trying to do something new. TNA being one of them, right? So when we talk about the International Championship, I like the idea of introducing a new title. To me, it's on the same level as the Global Championship in New Japan Pro Wrestling, right? I like the idea of it. It's a beauty. I actually liked it, but I actually put the graphic back up there as far as the show is concerned. There's Hellfire Designs did an excellent job. Craig at Hellfire Designs, also kind of making everything. There's a balance between classic and new, and I think he's done an excellent job of kind of merging those two worlds together. And I think that's one of the things for us belt guys that we can enjoy is because I know WWE has a modern take on championship designs, but there's something about being able to have a classic feel to a mid-card championship. Now, this is a championship that doesn't have a whole lot of legacy to it, right? But there is something in particular that I'm just not a big fan of when it comes to this championship. One, I think the name international is not creative enough, right?
Mhm.
Call me crazy. I get it. And it's like, is there a synonym for the word international? And sometimes it isn't, which I understand completely. But at the end of the day, I understand where it stands and I understand what it means. Same thing with global. It's like it's always easy to say. It's always like, okay, we can always call something global or international. But we've run out of names. You know, everything can't be intercontinental or, you know, or whatever other way to describe winning championships on multiple continents. Which in I always just think like, wait a minute, isn't that kind of the world? But anyway, we're not here to discuss. But yes, there's something in particular. I'm not a big fan of this belt, but I'm going to say that because it has a lot to do with this week's unpopular opinion. So as I close out one segment and I prepare for another, enjoy me rolling up my notes into a paper ball and throwing it in a random direction.
Over the left, yes.
Nobody saw it coming. So yes, if you want to see the entire episode, Brian H is shaking his head. He's trying to survive while he's on the road, and I'm just not making it any better for him. I apologize. I should do better, but I feel like I have to do this. People expect me to be shenanigery. But if you want to catch the full episode, if you want to catch the full unboxing to get a good look at a closer look, I should say, and a deep dive into this new TNA International Championship, like I said, head over to youtube.com/the wrestling realm, playlist championship culture. Jump right into season 4, catch all of season 3, season 2, season 1, all the bonus episodes if you have not had a chance to watch them. But that is where you can do so. And don't forget, every week at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays, that's where you can find live episodes. Some shows may be recorded, some shows may not be. Sometimes there's special guests, sometimes there's debates, all things championship culture related. That's where you can find that. Now, with that being said, it's a perfect time to segue into a segment that has become quite popular with our audience. Every week, we alternate 2 segments. One is called Wrestling Realm Facts, and the other is called Unpopular Opinion. Well, Wrestling Realm Facts is just a questionnaire, something that's proposed to the hosts of the show, and they answer it so that our fans can get to know us a little bit better as wrestling fans. It's just what we do. Sometimes we relate to different groups, but this is a way for you to get to know us a little bit better. Yes, we have the same purpose with our alternating segment in Unpopular Opinion, because we say things that you probably can't say in front of a lot of people. But the catch is with this segment is we as a collective cannot argue each other's unpopular opinions, but we do have a minute or so to explain why we feel the way we feel about said unpopular opinion. So yes, you guessed it. This week is our unpopular opinion segment, and we will go back to a more settled, a more nicer segment next week with Wrestling Realm Facts. But brothers, we are here now. Brother guy's not here, and he's probably going to cringe for a lot of this, but it's okay because we're going to hold it down. Let's jump into this week's unpopular opinion. So, good brothers, who wants to go first? Who wants to give the world their unpopular opinion for this week?
Hey, it's whatever. Are we rock, paper, scissors?
You go, brother Hugh.
Oh, you want me to go? Okay. All right. I'll go.
Okay. Shoot. I'm sorry. You brought this. If this show goes downhill, Brian, it's your fault. You can go first. Every time we do, you were like, bro, what in the world? Sometimes it's not as bad as it seems, but after that first show, we've been on the edge of our seats. But brother Hugh's going to go first. We're going to give you the drum roll, brother Hugh, and then you can tell the world your unpopular opinion for this week. So, drum roll, please.
Goldberg has ruined more moments than he has created positive moments.
That's the entire subject of the show.
The whole show.
Oh boy, wait till we get into this conversation. This is going to be fun. Wow. I'm sorry. Can you just say it one more time, brother? You just,
Goldberg.
Goldberg, I just knew. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Goldberg has ruined more moments than he has created successful moments or positive moments.
Wow. Oh boy. Wow. There you have it. Brian is taking notes mentally, like, because he's going to put these graphics up later. So Goldberg has ruined moments. I'm just going to leave it alone. Anyway, Brian H., do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll take it.
You're welcome.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me let me just give myself a moment, because like that's the entire show. He just decides to just, okay, that's cool. We're gonna spaghetti it up. We're gonna connect everything today. But go ahead, Brian H. Drum roll, please. You ready to give us your unpopular opinion? Let me make sure you settle first. You good? You ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. Brian H's unpopular opinion this week.
Goldberg
Oh no.
is more over than Batista and Triple H ever was.
Oh, boy.
Interesting.
Ooh, this is there it is. Okay, everybody stand
I
on.
was, and the thing
Go
is,
ahead.
I was gonna go deeper and say evolution.
Oh no, you
But-
can't do that. Nature's in there.
I
Nature's in there.
remember. That's the point. It would be too convoluted.
Ooh boy.
Oh my
As a
gosh.
whole. But the fact, I ain't gonna disrespect Ric Flair. I mean, I'm not a Flair guy, but I ain't gonna disrespect him that much and say Goldberg was. But then again,
No, just don't.
think about it. This is deep
Oh
thinking.
boy. Wow. So you said Goldberg is more popular than Triple H and Batista combined.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
That music the other night, man.
It might be some
that music,
credibility to that statement.
It popped you, baby. It popped you.
Wow. You lucky. See, this is why I wish I was in the studio. Look, don't worry. I might have to take a 20-minute break in about 15 minutes. I'm going to take about a 25-minute break, but I'll be back because I know this show go long enough. But, I'll be back to shenanigans with Brother Hugh. But I'm good right now.
Okay. You go. Listen. The conversation is about nostalgia, and Goldberg seems to be at the forefront of that nostalgia. So trust me, we'll have plenty of time for that. But see, this is what I like on last. It's nowhere near on the same level as you guys. You guys are always out for blood every time we do this segment. But
I mean, you set us up. Like you told us at the last minute, so you gave us time
Right.
to think. You gave us time to marinate.
It didn't take me long to think about mine, though. I'm just being real.
you know what he said, Brian H? He said it didn't take him long to think about his.
I'm not used
boy.
to having to hit the button too. Like I'd be like sitting there doing like an old man to hit a sound.
Hey, listen.
Now I see what y'all be talking about.
Listen, you're doing an excellent job, by the way. In case you haven't noticed,
Thank
like
you.
if nobody tells
Thank
you,
you.
goodness gracious, you're making this work. But let me just get on with it. My unpopular opinion from the realist this week is, drum roll please, light blue wrestling straps have no business being on championship titles. They just don't go. Light blue, turquoise, baby blue,
gonna have a word for you.
eggshell blue.
Oh my gosh.
They just don't belong on championships. It doesn't work for me. You look at the TNA International title, and I look at it, and every time I look at it, I say, man, how much better would this championship be if it was not on this eggshell blue championship? This belt strap. I was like, this just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me, brother. That's you, Brian H.
Hollywood.
Doesn't work for me, brother. So yeah. So that's my unpopular opinion for the week.
Live in peace and find his way.
May he continue to live in peace.
One
time for one time.
Whoa, I thought we were gonna have a whole different show tonight.
Oh yeah, it was about to be. It was about to be a Hollywood appreciation night. But yes, what day you have it? Those are our unpopular opinions for this week. Next week we will be back with our alternating segment, was of course with Wrestling Realm Facts, something a little bit more, something simple, something easy, something that kind of eases the mood. Not as violent as unpopular opinion. But unpopular opinion is kind of violent, but it's fine though. So like I said, we'll be back next week with the Wrestling Realm Facts, and it's time for us, good brothers, to just kind of jump into the conversation. It's time for us to really get this show started, but we have to get this show started the correct way. So we're going to ask our co-hosts, our good brothers, Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa, to do us the honors of helping us ceremoniously start the show by ringing the bell. Gentlemen, can you help us start the show, please?
Want to ring the bell?
Ding, ding.
So the bell has rung, which means it's time for us to jump into the favorite part that everyone tunes in for. It is the pure-blooded wrestling conversations that we have. So every week we have to get our minds and our hearts and our souls prepared to have these pro wrestling conversations. And the only way to do that is to constantly fill your spirits with enough pro wrestling content that you are ready to bring top level superior wrestling intellect to a show such as ours. So with that being said, that is called What Did You Watch? Brought to you by our good friends at SeatGeek. If you're looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com where you can use our promo code Wrestling Realm for any one-time purchase of $50 or more. That's promo code Wrestling Realm on any one-time purchase of $50 or more. Good brothers, what did you watch? Brother Hugh.
Yes, sir.
Let's get down to business, man. What did you watch this week, man? What tickled your fancy? What was tapping into your wrestling spirit this week as we prepare for this show?
Well, the old YouTube algorithm, it got me again. I stumbled across Untold, a documentary talking about running.
We got a running. Oops.
Dang, he got the private jet from Venezuela? Good Lord.
Oh my goodness. What are you doing? You supposed to be on a mission trip to Venezuela building swamps for misplaced horned frogs due to flooding. But yet you're here with us, brother Guy. It's good to see you.
First off. Never mind. Continue.
What are you doing here, brother Guy? I thought you were going to be MIA today. What's the word?
Yeah, I thought so too, but it ended a little earlier. So
did you at least save the horned frogs?
It ended a little earlier. That's all we're gonna say about that. And plus, I heard some blasphemy about a belt, and then I heard some unpopular opinions. I said, hold on there. I said, you know what this show is missing? It's missing some championship culture, but that's okay though. Because we got some now.
Listen,
we got some now.
You know the craziest, brother Guy? I thought I was going to buy myself some time. I said, I at least got a week. No, I at least got a day and a half until he actually finishes the show. I said, he's probably going to be a little busy. He's going to catch up. But midday tomorrow, I got to deal with this. But I thought I was going to get to the goddamn show.
I always listen. If I'm not on, I usually try to listen. Yeah, so I was listening the whole time.
Well, that's how you got here so fast. You got your flash shirt on? Got your superpowers?
That's how he got here. Thank you, Barry. He looked out. That's what it was.
See?
That's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, brother Guy's in the building. Let's give him a round of applause, goddammit.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Coming all the way back from your missions trip to Venezuela early, man. Listen, we applaud you for your humanitarian efforts, man, what you do around the world. Somebody has to do it, man. I'm glad that you have that kind of heart, that God put it in your spirit to do what you do for, animals around the world. But, brother Guy.
International Guy.
You bet. That's his new name.
Yeah, about these names. Yeah, about those names, sir.
International Guy. Well, listen, it's just a shame you missed the unpopular opinion. But listen, do you have one?
It's okay.
Do you have one for the sake of the shenanigans? I mean, everybody else got theirs out, and you're not that far removed. We just moved on to What Did You Watch? And brother, he was about to, talk about his YouTube algorithm that got him untold. But brother God, do you have an unpopular opinion? I'm sorry, because you heard mine. You heard mine, didn't you?
He ain't lying.
I ain't lying.
Yeah, listen, I heard him, and I listen. I can't say we can't argue. That's all I'm saying.
No, you can't. That's the whole point of the segment.
But I'm gonna just look because all you can do is look.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can just look.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So do you have an unpopular opinion?
You moved on from this because I don't want to.
We already know it's CM Punk is the best in the world.
Okay,
that's literally it. Yeah, we know that already.
There you have it, everybody.
You want my opinion, popular opinion? Here it goes. Are you ready?
Hold on.
Here goes.
Dolph Ziggler's world title run was more important than Goldberg's title run in WWF.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Fighting words. Those are fighting words, brother. You
Dolph
okay?
Ziggler's title
Hey,
run was
bro.
more important than Goldberg's WWF title run. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
WWF World title. Let me make sure I get the right
Ooh.
words.
He won it what, one time? Was it one time?
Technically two,
Technically
Mm.
two.
Goldberg, but we count the one because.
Okay.
But Dolph Ziggler's title run with that World Heavyweight Championship was much more important than Goldberg's title run in WWE.
Oof. Well,
Yeah.
goodness
hmm
gracious. Well,
Uh, yeah. That was.
ah,
Ooh. Yep.
all right. Well,
So
there you
yeah,
have it.
you can't
I
even
just
argue. Look,
no.
Hey,
I'm
I
just
feel
bro.
like y'all might agree. I feel like you might
Hey,
agree.
bro. Hey, I
how.
agree 100%. You
Well,
know
we
me.
know you do. We know you're gonna
Yeah.
agree. Especially, did you hear, brother? He was unpopular opinion, brother guy.
Oh, I heard it. That's what
Oh,
made me
okay.
say,
Because I
well,
just
we was
yeah,
all being spicy today
I was
because
like, okay.
between that and Hollywood, I said, oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one because um, all I'm gonna say is this, and the only reason I'm saying the one, you probably don't count the one here
Mm-hmm.
because it was less than that night. It was that award shenanigans. But you remember how many days the other one was? Uh-oh, did I lose you?
Nah, we just don't know how many days it was.
Oh, okay. So Goldberg's
Oh,
was about.
yeah.
Oh,
He had to
we
step out.
lost him. Yeah, we lost him. All I'm gonna say is when you see the numbers, you'll see why I say that. His title run was much more important than Goldberg's, and that's all I'm gonna say about that because one was 20 days less, but one meant more. But back to you, realness.
Okay. Well, listen, my brother guy and I mean my brother Hugh and Brian H try to get themselves situated. Hey, we're here talking about what did you watch? So,
hmm
what did you watch this week to get yourself in the mental space, right? The proper mindset of having professional wrestling conversations. What did you get into
hmm
this week?
So usually it's driven by what championship culture is doing, but
Hmm?
I actually went a different route, which is insane because you know how sometimes you want to go back and see if certain things measure up. That if
Sure.
you watch it again, is it just as good? And I found myself going down a rabbit hole with one of my favorite, or has become one of my favorite titles,
Hmm?
North American Championship. And
Okay.
I went back and watched that original ladder match for the inaugural champion when Adam Cole won, and I
Oh
was
yeah, that was
pleasantly
good.
surprised. It was still just as good because I
Yeah.
remember, you remember it one way, and I was like, this is actually better than I remember it. So I went down that rabbit hole, and of course, I started watching other things with the North American Championship, like when Ricochet won it. Um, Even to the point, I think I got up to that weird era where it was Leon Rush and um, Johnny Gargano, and then
Hmm.
that's when I kind of just said, "That's enough." So, but
Wow.
that first inaugural match, if you want to see a good ladder, I remember it being good, but I watched it and was like, "This was actually great." So,
Okay. Now, brother Hugh, you were talking about Untold on YouTube. The algorithm got to you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you got into this week.
Well, it's basketball season, the end of basketball season, final
Hmm?
season, and I ended up watching Untold, the documentary on when we had the Bash at the Beach. We had Dennis Rodman and Karl
Oh.
Malone step in the ring, and I remember watching it as a young pup
Hmm.
and being conflicted
Hmm.
because I love DDP, but I couldn't stand Karl Malone.
Carmelo, yes.
I couldn't stand him,
but who didn't love DDP?
and
And who
I
didn't?
love Dennis Rodman, but I
Yeah.
couldn't stand Hollywood Hogan.
Oh man, this is getting deep, man. Because we tapping
So
into some real feelings right here. I remember those days. I remember feeling the same way.
man, look. I was so mad that I no. I see. Like I said, I was conflicted. I was happy that DDP won,
Hmm.
but Karl Malone did. He got the pin, right? I believe
Yeah, I think you did.
he got the pin, and I was like, "Come on, man!" But it doesn't matter because Dennis Rodman got the win at the end of the day. He got the ring, so
True.
it's all good at the end of the day.
Big
But
W
shout
paycheck.
out to shout out to Dennis Rodman because he was awesome. Like he really studied wrestling, and he was really great at what he did
Hmm.
in the wrestling ring.
Yep.
Just playing off the crowd and just his whole performance was phenomenal.
He was an entertainer. He got it.
Yes, for sure.
Rodzilla. So I
And he
said,
understood how to get a crowd behind you. He understood how
Mm-hmm.
to get a reaction.
yeah, well, yeah,
100%.
he did that in
Definitely
his real
did.
life. So
he sure enough did.
Translating it to professional wrestling wasn't no thing for Rodzilla. But yeah, let me tell you what I got into this week, good brothers. So once again, the A&E superstars, WWE superstars on A&E channel. I forgot. I get it mixed up in my head, but it's on Samsung TV, right? It's an entire channel dedicated to all WWE's A&E programming. And I was watching, I believe it was the biography on D-Generation X, and I was watching it, and it never gets old to me because DX, that conversation never goes away. Mm-hmm. And when you hear about how a lot of our favorites kind of spiraled out of control, but then they kind of found themselves, and to have that reunion special that they had, a couple years after, years later, with everybody in the group, with the exception of China. And I was saying to myself, everybody in this ring at one point was like one of my favorites, and I literally followed their careers in WWE, out of WWE. Like, follow Road Dogg all the way to TNA. I didn't like his gimmick in TNA. When he was part of 3 Live Crew, Lord of mercy, he just kept saying that for some reason. I hated 3 Live Crew. You remember that line from LL Cool J's Get Sprung?
It was so bad.
He's like, Lord of mercy. He's just like, not 1, not 2, but 3 live crew. Lord of mercy. I'm like, Road Dogg, killing me. He back with his rap gimmick. They was
with the
you ever see that promo for 3 Live Crew?
Oh my gosh, yes.
It was like wearing suits one day, and then they was all in fatigue, and I'm like, I hate this man. Him and K Quick back together again. He's pissed me off. But watch that, and then I remember when Billy Gunn debuted, and he didn't have a name because they didn't know what to call him. He just had a like Nails rip off T-shirt that said IN. It said no name needed or no. What did it say? It said something. No intro neither or something. It said you already know my name. It had Kiss prints around it. That was cool. And I was like, why don't they just call him like Monty Gunn or like something that resembled Billy Gunn? They call him Kip Sop. Like, don't give him his real name. That's stupid. Call him like Billy. Yeah, like Billy Guns with a Z. I just not.
Oh yeah, how they do in the Indies now when they change their name?
That sounds like a porn name.
It did. Unfortunately, that's probably why they didn't do it.
After you said it out loud, you're like, wait a minute.
It's like, yeah, you know what? When you put it that way, it probably has the wrong connotation. But like I said, I became a huge fan of Sean Waltman. I enjoyed X-Pac, but Sean Waltman was one of my favorites just across the board.
And TNA, he was on a different level.
He really was, though, and like at his hottest, he just like walked away from it. You know what I mean? And then he ended up coming back again. When Hogan brought back the Wolfpack and Scott Hall came back. It's crazy. That sounds one of my favorite runs. I love the band in TNA. I just wish, I'm like, if Scott Hall would just have got himself just together just a little bit more. Like, they came out there in full gear. Like, one of my favorite matches of all time is freaking Scott Hall and Kevin Nash versus the Dudleys. Team 3D in that cage match that they had. And as crazy as it was, I was a huge Scott Hall fan. Love Scott Hall, especially when he left. I don't know why, man. I was obsessed with Scott Hall. But yeah, I went down that rabbit hole, man. It was awkward time in TNA's history, but I enjoyed it. But it is what it is. I hate it when they were the kings of wrestling in TNA because they were like dressed like Elvis running around with Jeff Jarrett. Kevin Nash had cut his hair. And I say, you wonder why nobody treated you like you're a big deal. It's because you don't look like a big deal.
Yeah, following the gimmick.
Yeah, and then he leaves. He leaves TNA almost 13 years later, and then goes back, and everybody treats him like a superstar. Like, where you been, Kevin Nash? He's like, I've been wrestling all this time. They're like, huh? Where? Anyways,
because you couldn't find it. That was during the time we had to find the TNA. You couldn't find it.
Fox Sports Net or something. Saturday nights, early Sunday mornings. But like I said, that's what I watched this week. So once again, like I said, brought to you by our good friends at SeatGeek. Good brothers, let's jump into the conversation. Tonight is about nostalgia. Are we over it? Are we for it? Is Goldberg more over than ever? Or was it just a one-time surprise that maybe caught us off our feet? Let's get into the conversation. Clickety cloud. Goldberg is back. Y'all want to play the music? Do. I don't have no sparks and no pyro or nothing like that, but it's
Thank
all
you.
good. Yeah, that's right. You guys don't sound like you guys like Goldberg. Now see, Brownie just here, he be trolling like crazy. He be telling you how over he was and all that good stuff.
True.
He is racing to get back in the house so he can grab this microphone and give you 2 cents. But you know what? He's at a disadvantage. So of course we get a chance to hear what you guys have to say first. Let's talk about Goldberg. Now, Goldberg returned a few months ago, earlier in the year or earlier last year. And we were kind of shocked because there was rumors going around that Goldberg kind of had a little bit of heat with the E because he was talking about he didn't get it. He was promised a retirement match. He didn't get it, but that was also during the Vince McMahon era / regime. And it didn't kind of happen, but he popped up in Atlanta with his family and Gunther. He had some, he kind of went in on, y'all remember that when he kind of he just started going in on Goldberg randomly?
Yes. And I love it.
Gunther is a funny guy. Like he decided, okay, I choose smoke today. He goes, yeah, last week I told Bret Hart he was the worst wrestler. And now I changed my mind. It's you. Now he was talking all kind of, I don't remember what he was talking, but he was talking crazy to Goldberg. And Goldberg, Goldberg is like, hey man, listen, one thing he hates is to be embarrassed in front of his kid, his wife and his son. He looked to the left, his son looked at him like that. Don't let him talk to you like that. He looked to the right, his wife was like, stop letting him talk crazy to you. When your woman do that, you're in trouble. He like, dang it, now I got to do something about it. But he's old, so he couldn't jump right then and there. He just had, you feel me? He's like, all right, I got to do something. So, Goldberg made it clear that he was going to see him. You know what I mean? And he went about his business. And here we are now. Goldberg comes back in the middle of what seems like the era of these nostalgia runs, right? We had Carlito come back at some point. He's gone. We have John Cena going his farewell tour. Randy Orton returned after a long time. You know what I mean? And now Goldberg, it seems like he's going to have, I don't know if it's one final run, one final match. I can't really say. But it seems like Goldberg is trying to, once again, just like anybody else, go out on his own terms. So what can we say about this? Are we here for this? Are you guys happy to see Goldberg back? Because the crowd seemed pretty into it. But of course, the online group wasn't as enthused. So talk to me. What are we realistically looking at right now with the return of Goldberg?
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Boring TV.
Why? Come on now.
Because it's Goldberg. Goldberg is overhyped. He's overrated. He's whack. He's Goldberg. He all come back talking about who's next. You're next. Go sit home and play with your monster trucks and cars. What are we doing? Why are you on TV right now?
You see when he has monster trucks and cars at home.
What are we talking about? Why are you here?
Wow.
This dude hasn't involved in how long? How long has he been wrestling? 20, 30 years?
I mean, yeah, off and on. This is about 90, 98, I guess.
Like, what? He still has the same character? That's irrelevant?
Is it irrelevant, brother?
Yes, it is. Yes, to me, is irrelevant. I don't know. He's whack.
Tell us why.
He's a knockoff Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's why. That's how he got on. Because he had to be the rival to Stone Cold Steve Austin in WCW because they knew that's what everybody would want to see. That was the best thing. That's the best thing about Goldberg is the booking of him in early WCW.
You took this argument back to 1998.
I sure enough did because he's whack. He's whack, bro. Like from black trunk Goldberg to black bicycle trunk Goldberg with the little white stripe. It's the same person. Let me come in and do my 2 moves and roll out. Nobody wants to see that. This man did a random backflip in the match. Didn't make sense at all. The crowd didn't react. You remember that?
I did.
In WCW?
Nobody knew what was about to happen. Like,
I remember watching that as a kid. I said, dang, okay, a random backflip. What? Oh, I'm athletic. Okay. Okay, all right. Nah, bro. I prefer Goldberg. Matter of fact, wow. You know what? When I heard his theme song hit on Monday,
yes,
I turned the TV off and I went downstairs and I baked some brownies. That's what I did. I baked some brownies. Betty Crocker, shout out to you, shorty. The brownies were good. They were good.
I can't do this with you guys right now.
I came back after he was gone and enjoyed the rest of Raw.
That is insane. You had that much beef with Goldberg, brother. Here.
Yes, he's whack.
I never knew you felt this way.
He's a career killer.
Yeah, we.
I'm with you, Brett.
We would.
Oh my God!
I can't get my sentence out.
You can't.
I'll let you go.
Yeah, because I'm choosing. It's like the conflict is like, yes, I am with you, Brett, but god dang it, come on. So you, brother Hugh, like I said, clearly you got it against Goldberg. I don't know how long you've been waiting to get that off your chest. I don't feel like we've had this conversation before. I had no idea you felt that way about Goldberg. Like you are not happy about this. Like you're just like this because he didn't address anything that happened in 2025. He went back to 1998. I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. You've had beef for a long time.
This is deep rooted. Yes, I never had the opportunity to talk about him. Never really needed to talk about him because he was irrelevant to me. So I'm like, okay, all right. They go from 10 matches to 70 matches in 6 days. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just never got him. Like he couldn't wrestle. Like the charisma is not there for me. He can't speak on the mic. What are you good for? You just big and look stupid. Like I don't get it.
All right.
What are we talking about?
So let me ask you a question, brother.
Yes.
Why is he so over the way that he is? Like
I don't know. Because wrestling fans. That's why.
This is no other reason. Because wrestling fans. Goodness
gracious,
it, man.
Wrestling fans.
I can only imagine what you were probably thinking as soon as I sent this to the group text. Like, hey, this is what tonight's show about. All about Goldberg. You probably was like, bro, what?
Hey, man, you can ask Brandon. As soon as I saw it, I went off. He called me like, "Oh, what's going on?" Look, I went off for like a smooth 20-25 minutes.
Oh my gosh!
About how wacky he is.
I had no idea you felt this way about Goldberg, but I'm glad now. I'm glad I chose this show.
God, I said Goldberg is back, man. Come on, man. This man almost killed the Undertaker in the ring.
Yeah, he did.
And himself in the ring.
Yeah, he just ran head first into the post.
Hey man, he need to get checked out, bro. Keep banging his head against the doors.
I think the best match he had was in I don't know if they were in Saudi or they were in Jeddah when what was the match he had against Bobby Lashley?
Oh shoot, where was that? Was it Jeddah?
Oh yeah, because Bobby made him look really good that match.
It was
real good.
It was one of the overseas matches. I can't remember which one.
I said this is the best match Goldberg has had since he's been back. Mm-hmm. It might have been on the all-time list. Because Shelton
killed long. My bad. Go ahead.
No,
he killed long-term storytelling in WCW with his booking.
Yeah,
like he was that over. Like that's what blew me about it. He held other talent back in WCW.
Like who do you hold?
Guys like Chris Jericho. Come on, bro. Chris Jericho in WCW. Chris Jericho was the guy. Booker T. Booker T had to wait for all the Gumps to leave to get his time, get his shine.
Yeah, that's petty though. He should have been working with top dogs. That was petty.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? Even to DDP for a while. Like, just because Goldberg comes in, does spear, and then I'm make my face and yell, and that's it. Literally, he was on the video games with 2 moves, maybe 3, because you got to put the military press in there too.
That's all he did.
But, like, that's not appealing to me. Yeah, I'm talking. It's me. Yes. I don't like it. I can't rock with it. No, go home.
Goodness. Brother Hugh was not happy about Goldberg showing up. Man, I'm glad we asked you first. Brother guy.
Look at his t-shirt. He got the baseball shirt on.
Now,
3/4 sleeve.
I thought that t-shirt is whack looking. I was like, all right, it's like a comic book looking shirt. It's like we gotta give something a little more fierce, but that's neither here nor there.
I got a new name for him. Goldberg.
Oh, buddy.
Goldberg. Oh my goodness. Brother guy, he stole me off personally. I didn't know he felt this way about Goldberg, and I'm glad now because I'm just like, he's probably waited 20-something years to get that off his chest.
Daggone right. And I'm pretty sure he's a nice guy, but your character, bro, it hasn't evolved in 30 years, so I'm good.
Brother guy, let's see where you stand because I don't know if you're able to talk some sense in the brother here. And see if you can get him to see it another way. Because he might be like, nah, stone cold set in his ways. I don't know, but I don't know if you have anything that might push this conversation in a different direction. And when Brian Ace gets here, he's gonna let both of y'all have it. He's gonna go.
He is.
He's gonna go in pure WWE public relations mode. But he's
So
going.
here's the thing:
Go ahead,
when the
brother guy.
when the music hit, you know me. I said, "Who asked for this?"
No.
I was like, why, right? That was my first reaction, right? I said, no, seriously, who asked for this? Because in this 2025
You just as bad as
WWE,
Brother Hugh.
no, I'm gonna get to it, right? Because in 2025 WWE, we don't need a Goldberg. Let's call it what it is, right?
Why
The
not?
nostalgia pop, and because here's the thing, a nostalgia pop, cool, okay, great. What are you trying to make more money off of that you're already not? That's first. But from a business standpoint and from a wrestling fan standpoint, yes, in 2025, he didn't get his last run. He didn't get his send off because
Agree.
now with Goldberg, you're going to sell merchandise. You're going to sell views on the WWE YouTube channel, the
And
social
the
media.
WCW one now too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right,
on the
right.
WCW. So now for people to say, okay, why is this person next to me going crazy? Because 20 years ago, they were watching the 2 minute squash matches and they're seeing the hero. Because remember, one of his big thing is he always wanted to look like he was the superhero to those people. So those young people now growing up, they're seeing the hero. They're getting that last run, or oh, I didn't know when I went to Monday Night Raw, I will be seeing this. So I completely understand from a business standpoint that he's
Mm-hmm.
there because not only for the nostalgia part, for the okay, put him on the marquee. He's going to be in his hometown. He's going to sell out. What better way to say thank you to a man that, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, gave up his life to this industry, did things. And yes, we could talk about the bad booking, 2 minute matches, the 746 wins that translated to 47-day title reign, whatever you want to call it. It's a part of history that everybody's talking about, and he's in that name of who's in WCW. He was a household name, so I'm not knocking that part. I'm just knocking the part from a standpoint of a loaded roster, which we were all complaining about with AEW not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Having a loaded roster, we not seeing our favorites. We're complaining about that. Now we're getting another nostalgia pop because I had the same thing when was it Nikki Bella or Brie? Who came back? It was Nikki.
Nikki.
One
Yeah.
of them, same person.
Yeah, I said why?
Wow.
Why?
Same
Who asked
person.
for this? You get what I'm saying? But you have this roster that you can use, but I get from a business standpoint,
Yeah,
100%. The crowd went nuts. The internet blew up. He did his job in getting people to talk about him and be part of a conversation to get us to main event, Saturday's night's main event. He might have been the push to get them from 80% capacity to sold out. He might be the difference to get them a higher buy rate on national TV where Saturday Night's Main Event is broadcasting because he is a household name associated with wrestling. As
right.
much as we talk about The Rock and Stone Cold, you
Mm-hmm.
can't talk about a homegrown talent of Goldberg from WCW without saying, oh yeah, Goldberg. But I get all that, but still, who asked for this? Who thought this was a good idea?
Probably
Because
TKO.
Yeah,
you get what I'm
absolutely,
saying? Yeah,
100%.
but and I hate to say this, I think people were okay with this because, oh, that's why Jey Uso lost the title because he couldn't fight
He ain't trying
Goldberg
to hear
because
that.
you need Gunther to do it because he already planted the seed with the beef.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it, and we know that's going to be a bigger
And
match of the
you need
crowd
somebody to
being.
carry him too.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You need
100%.
Gunther because he's going to do what Bobby Lashley did. Because, like you said, Bobby Lashley made him look great and made that match important. And Bobby Lashley doesn't get enough credit for that. And Gunther is about to make this match and make this man look great to the point that win, lose, or draw, he's going to look like he still got it. Thank you, Goldberg chance. So, yes, his last send off, put some money in his pocket. I just hope that he don't go to a plane and wind up in Saudi Arabia and do something else because it's too much heat for him. And as
That
in
man
like the
about to
weather.
win the daggone WAC, bro.
So Seth Rollins can curb stomp his head and take the title off of him. Yes.
Wow.
They gonna put the strap on him.
No.
And Seth Rollins is going to curb stomp him and take the strap off of him. He's
So
going to cash in. If that happens, he's going to cash in.
oh
That's
boy.
the only way that
I
happens in
don't
2025.
I don't think the match is for the championship, is it?
It will be.
It will
You
be.
know, daggone well. You know, daggone well
So
it
you
will
He
be.
think
was too
it's
out
gonna
of
get to
breath
that
to
point?
say his whole promo. He had to hurry up and
Right.
get the stick off to say.
Listen, I feel differently than you guys. is because when Goldberg's music hit, I'm not gonna lie to you, I stopped in my tracks. I was mid-sentence. You guys are gonna hate this. Look at brother Gunter. Look at brother guy's face. He cringed. He cringed. I'm glad I caught that before I switched over. He cringed as soon as I said that.
You stopped mid tracks. Okay.
I was in here talking about something, and I heard and Gunther. My dog was talking his ish, and like I said, he beat Jay. I'm like, well, listen, I'm not mad. I'm a Gunther guy. So if he was running his mouth, and then the music hit, I was like, okay, go. And the fans erupted. They went crazy, and I was saying to myself, I thought we was mad at Goldberg, but I guess for the live audience to experience that. Now, here's the thing: we talk about where he gained his rise to fame, his popularity, right? We're talking 98-ish, you know what I mean? That's give or take, right? But I'm like, I know it's not that. See, it's hard to tell when it comes to a wrestling audience who's in the audience, because wrestling fans, you can't, after a certain age, like, everybody looks the same age, so it's hard to differentiate the generations. Now I'm like, are these kids from the early Ruthless Aggression era that, maybe they were younger when Goldberg showed up in WWE, or is this really our generation of people that grew up, like on Goldberg, or maybe these are kids and people that, like you said, been watching the YouTube, watching the A&E specials, watching all these things, and it's now they're familiar with Goldberg because, like I said, I got a child in my house that favorite wrestlers is like Sting and The Undertaker, and I'm like, how? But it's all off, you know what I mean? Reruns and old footage. So I was like, it was hard. All I know is I was like, wait a minute, you just don't get that response if it doesn't make a difference. If it's not something that people want. Now, the thing about Goldberg, the idea of Goldberg is fun, and the idea of Goldberg, just like you said, makes money. The idea of the nostalgia run that he had, even when he returned to WWE, in his later years, and he was Universal Champion.
You don't understand why.
He had to make it right with Brock Lesnar. Their second match was better than the first one they had.
Yeah, right? It was. I'll give you that.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we understood that run. It was like, look, I want to make this right. But then it was like, well, why now? What's the point of this now? But like I said, the whole point of us having this conversation was the response that he got from the audience. Now, my concern is, can he live up to it in the ring?
No.
You know what I mean? He's 58 years old. He's not Ric Flair. He's not an active superstar. He has to do a lot to get himself back in shape, and he's always been a freak of an athlete, and it has held up to this point in his close to his 60s, right? We're watching R-Truth do it at the age of 55, so Goldberg is blessed to be able to still ride his athleticism. But it's like, is it going to be worth it, though? Because you watch Goldberg for the same reasons. For the music, the moment he comes out, he's going to breathe fire. But then once again, as we always say, the bell has to ring. And it's like,
that sounds familiar.
Can he give us enough? Can he give us enough to say, man, this is worth him having more, one match, two match, three match, four? You know what I mean?
But
and
see,
I'm like,
and when you say that, that's the part that I want to give him credit for. That his match style, his reign has been duplicated so much that it becomes a blueprint. When they went away from that blueprint, that's when you lost what the Goldberg was. When we went away and having a 2-3 minute match that his entrance was longer than his match. Like, for instance, like Mike Tyson, we knew Mike Tyson would knock you out in the first round. We was like, dang, but we wanted more. Goldberg always was good when he gave us that short burst. When he started having wrestling matches, we were like, wait a minute.
Going a little too long.
Yeah. As soon as he lost that heavyweight championship, that's when it started.
But remember, that's where a lot of people have tried to duplicate and haven't been successful, because this was the perfect formula for him. He did it great. He did it well. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's take another example. Jade Cargill. They tried so hard to do it that way, and it kind of didn't hit the same.
AEW. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It said something about that. Now, let me ask Brother Hugh, because I got to see if I can try to at least change his mind somewhere. Brother God mentioned a blueprint, right? He talked about the idea of this dominant force. When you book a superstar, when you try to make them a star, and of course you can do it one way, but kind of force feeding their presence to the audience for them to say, hey, this is the next dominant person that's going to rise up and be the whatever they are, whether it's a champion, whether it's the face of a company, whatever the case may be. In some cases, does it not work? Does he have his place in wrestling history outside of like an Andre the Giant or the Undertaker that has this dominant run of, hey, look, this is a new blueprint of what a dominant superstar can look like, where they go undefeated for a good amount of time, and then after a while they become so strong there's really no way to either not put the world title on them or find good enough dance partners to kind of make it worthwhile to keep them on TV. Is that something you give Goldberg credit for, or do you feel like that archetype was kind of already existed and just Goldberg was maybe a modern version of it, or we haven't seen it since yesteryear and then it just kind of re-showed up? It's kind of showed its head in the mid 90s or late 90s.
I'm trying to think of someone who kind of had that before
Andre the Giant.
Goldberg, like, but I didn't really watch Andre like that.
But Andre was pretty much undefeated his whole career.
Andre was also like a freak of nature. Like,
I mean, but
seven whatever. Nobody can take him. So that made sense.
That was kind of the archetype. Like I said, he was the only one that he just didn't lose. He didn't start really losing matches until like he decided he wanted to put somebody over later in his career. Like he didn't take pins. Like he was undefeated and he was never world champion. Like he was never like, and he didn't have to be because he was the 8th wonder of the world. So, but like I said, it was different. Like you said, he was 7'1" and a monstrous human being, and you know what I mean. It was nothing that, but just in terms of being dominant and undefeated, we hadn't seen anything like that up to that point. You know what I mean? Outside of like, like back in the day with guys like Bruno Sammartino. You know what I mean? And the guys that had those heavy world title runs, the Bob Backlund's, guys who were champion for 2 and 3 and 4 years, things like that. You know what I mean? So Goldberg seemed like to have reset that, hey, we're going to make this guy super dominant. He's never going to lose. This is what it turns into. But I mean, do you feel like that's something he gets credit for, or you feel like, hey, nah, this was kind of already here? Because like you said, we saw it with Jake Cargill. We saw it with, you can always tell when they're trying to give somebody a Goldberg run. I guess it almost looks the same. The guy, you know what I mean? Like, okay, this they're being forcibly dominant. They're not losing. But then the problem is, I said, great, now you have nobody that can beat them. And it's like, well, if nobody can beat them, why are they not the world champion?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Now they're stuck.
And then that's why they had to do something stupid like hit him with a cattle prod. Talk about, look. You know what I mean?
You always got to find a dumb way to beat somebody.
Right. To answer your question, yes, he is the modernized version of those guys, the Sammartinos and Andre the Giants. He definitely brought it to the forefront, starting in 98, I guess.
Yeah, we just say 98.
Yeah, I mean, when it happens today, who's the first person we think of? We don't say Andre the Giant. We don't say Bruno. We go straight to Goldberg. Oh, this is the Goldberg booking.
Yep.
You said it about Jade. You said it about Oscar. You said it about Ryback.
Yeah.
It's the Goldberg treatment. And I'll give Miss Flowers for that. Like I said, that from the jump. The booking of Goldberg was the best thing about him. Other than that, everything else was whack to me. I'm just being real. Like,
everything else.
Yeah.
All right. So clearly somebody wants this, right? First thing really was, who wants this? Who wants this? And I'm like, brother guy, somebody wants this, is because here we are. He's booked for Saturday night's main event. Are we over nostalgia as a wrestling group? Have we decided that, hey, this isn't it anymore? Or is a situation where maybe, like you said, brother guy, we're so used to everyone else that's on the show and people that we actually want to see, and we kind of have these side quests that we call Saturday Night Main Event, where it's like, okay, cool, it's not necessarily involving our major storyline per the show.
Oh god, hey, here we go.
There it is. But this is but hey, this is a main event that we can sell to the national audience.
I'm sorry, was that for me or brother guy?
So, I think that's okay. And then when I say that's why I said with the nostalgia pop, it's perfect for that network television that everybody's going to see. Gives everybody a chance, and then reel people in. Because when you say a Goldberg, a casual wrestling fan knows about Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
They might not know what a Gunther is because they haven't watched it. But when they're watching TV and then they see the commercial on whatever, let's say they watching The Price is Right, they see a commercial for Saturday's main event. Goldberg, oh, he's wrestling. Oh, I might tune in. It's going to drive up the viewership. Might even drive them to a clickbait to say, okay, let me see what's so great about this, or what has he been doing, or who's this Gunther guy that he's wrestling. Let me start that. So it helps in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, and the reason I'm saying like who asked for this, because it's such a loaded roster right now. Did we need a nostalgia pop? But then you can say the argument is, do you ever need a nostalgia pop? When is the time for nostalgia pop? You know what I mean? Like that's the other thing too. So I'm torn because I get it, but I don't I don't want it, but I get it. Well, I
you got to sell them tickets for Saturday night main event.
I feel the conflict.
Yeah,
that's nationwide. Well, worldwide, basically. Well, nationwide at least. But you know what I mean. It's on regular
and being
TV.
in Atlanta, it helps.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. His roots are in Atlanta. Everybody knows that's 100% going to help.
That's a cheap ticket sell. Like, okay,
yeah.
Goldberg is Atlanta.
Oh, and Cody is from Atlanta too, right?
Well, yeah, he's from outside of Atlanta, but yeah, that's what he considers his wrestling home. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Brian H,
what up?
I don't know if you've heard, and I learned something new today. I had no idea that Brother Hugh has had such a long vendetta against the legend and legacy of the man they call Goldberg. We sat here for the first 20 minutes. I was flabbergasted. I had no idea. I asked him how he felt about nostalgia in 2025, and he took this argument back to 1998, like Goldberg owes him money.
He did.
And he proceeded to go in, and I'm sitting here in shock. Like, I had no idea he felt this way. Now I'm really glad we chose to talk about Goldberg on this show. I said, wait. Wait till Brian H gets a hold of this.
I just thought of something.
What did you think of Brian H?
So I'm sitting here looking at Cheap Pop coming up tomorrow. My King and Queen of the Ring tier list. You know what I want to see? I'm calling you out, Brother Hugh. I want to see all the people who are over, all the people who are hyped. And this is what I mean. You gotta have had superstar status, right? I'm talking Hogan, Warrior, Sting, Goldberg. I want all of these people on one of these lists, right? And I want Brother Hugh to do it. And I want him to do Gump 1, Big Gump, Biggest Gump, and Triple Mania Gump. Because Brother Hugh never liked anybody who was over. So, yeah, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow at 12. Happy Juneteenth, people. And also, 15 minutes away, Juneteenth is a holiday, but it's also a great holiday.
Yes, heck it is.
My good brother Jay Bougie, his birthday. Y'all remember when we celebrated Jay Bougie's birthday all together at Black Wrestle Fest. But
shout out to the good brother.
Yeah, I'm excited about this, man. You know, like I said, Brother Hugh, I know he don't like people who are over. Anybody the fans like Brother Hugh don't like. So I want to see Brother Hugh make one of those lists. Gump, Big Gump, Big Gump.
Well, you know who's at the top.
We know.
King of the Gumps.
Just
Hogan.
King of the Gumps.
Hogan.
Just to let you know, Brian H. Brother Hugh did confirm that he has given Goldberg a new nickname. It's Gumpberg. Yes, Gumpberg. So it's funny you mentioned that as far as his Gump list.
You know what I have to say, right? I wasn't a Goldberg guy back in the day.
You too,
but
see?
but
talk about
it. No, but see, I wasn't a Goldberg guy necessarily, but whenever I see the match from Monday Nitro, July 6, 1998.
Oh, here comes the dates.
Give me chills. Goldberg and Hogan. And here's the thing. Bobby,
all right, so I'm gonna holler
brilliant brain.
Look at that, y'all. Bye.
That call was so epic. That call. Finish him up. Do it. And every time before the match starts, right? I'm gonna tell you a little secret. Before the match starts, and Bobby says, "Gentlemen, start your engines." I replay that every time I'm on the plane and it's about to take off. All I hear is Bobby the Brain Eater. Like soundtracks of our childhood. Goldberg's music was a part of that. And I think I've grown to appreciate him more as we got older. So this match, him and Gunther, yeah, I'm excited about it. You know, Twitter, everybody wanted to come in my mentions when I said
the eye roll.
What if I would love to see Goldberg beat Gunther for the belt.
It's going to happen.
You imagine? Now,
Brother Hughes sold that it's going to happen already. He says this has to happen.
You imagine?
I agree.
We get a cash in. And brother guy said we get a cash in from it.
See, and I was thinking that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, well, what if, good old Roman stops that from happening? Because I think that's what he's going to constantly be a thorn in the Seth Rollins side. But that's the reason. So I was thinking about that, but I think, just one run in the SummerSlam, Goldberg. Why not? One more time. One last ride.
Do we really need that, though?
No, we never need any of these championship runs. You know what I mean? But I will say this.
I've been laughing all show, by the way.
We did need so. And guess what? I know y'all did. What did you watch? I just put on my second favorite Goldberg match, the one from WrestleMania 33.
That was good,
versus Brock Lesnar. Man, being in the building.
That was good.
That was good. That was good.
First of all, we heard the rent was so long. We heard more of Goldberg's music than we ever heard.
But
I didn't even know his song was that long.
Yeah, but that
they hit the repeat button, bro.
Remember, this was the match.
Was
the match. Like right. I mean, this program restored Goldberg's legacy.
Yep.
That was about because. That's why he had to beat Kevin Owens fast. As much as people hated it, you can't beat Brock Lesnar quickly and then struggle with Kevin Owens. That just doesn't make any sense. That's why I don't think this is going to be a squash. Because how could Gunther squash him after he struggled with Pat McAfee? Like, how much sense does that make?
Well, Pat
not struggle,
McAfee,
but
he's significantly younger. One of the conversations we were having, Brian H, was you talked about all the things that make wrestling fans love Goldberg. The entrance, the music, the soundtrack, the nostalgia, how it makes us feel. But the bell has to ring at some point.
Can I go past
by all
the
means.
sixth wall? I'm asking you for permission for a specific reason.
Let it rip.
All right. The thing that made me appreciate Goldberg more was when Nephew told me, Nephew was in the Goldberg.
I told you, yeah.
And I'm like, he was
watching
not
old
even
stuff.
thought about.
Yeah.
But
Goldberg, Undertaker, he had Goldberg action figures. Like I had to go back and get them. Like they weren't in stores. I had to order those bad boys.
See, that's love. Happy Father's Day.
I'm just saying. Thank you.
So,
by the way.
You didn't show him Goldberg versus Undertaker, did you?
I ain't gonna lie, he probably saw it, but
I hope not.
I don't. He's watched so much wrestling. He's watched so much wrestling. I'm sure he's forgotten about it.
But he's one of those people. You think back to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's Kerry Von Erich, where wasn't watching when he was Kerry. Obviously, I watched Texas Tornado, but I wasn't watching. But when I go back, if I see a Kerry Von Erich match, I'm going to turn it on. I'm getting excited, right?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, maybe a little bit with Magnum TA. Goldberg is that for the younger kids where they heard about like this. You know how many text messages I got from old school fans who used to watch that, yo, Goldberg good? It's one of those things where if there was no internet, you wouldn't realize how much disdain there was for Goldberg.
True. I think that plays probably a part in it. But like I said, the bell has to ring. How much can he actually give us? He didn't give us much in his prime. He gave us the moments. That's what Goldberg is there for. He's there for the moments.
What moment?
Well, the spear and the jackhammer, the breathing in the fire, the intro.
I was waiting for one. Just one.
It's
Goldberg. JoJo looked good that night too.
Anybody? Yeah. Does anybody have a moment?
I mean,
Brother Brian.
Okay. When he breathes in the sparkles, he's like looks like a fire breathing dragon. That's what we pay to really see. But like I said, I'm nervous because at some point I'm like, where do we draw the line as far as nostalgia is concerned? Where there you go, the punch, kick, boom. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to see him do nothing else.
And
like,
I
I'm straight.
I really shouldn't like this guy. He destroyed one of the career of my favorite wrestler. But
same thing.
Yes, yes, sir.
I get it. I understand. I think it's just seeing like so many people come out of woodworks who was fans like, wait, Goldberg? And honestly, like I said, watching Raw, that pop, I'm like,
that's how many people,
how many legends would love to have that pop? I told you, Alundra Blaze is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. She doesn't get that pop. If we being real, Bruce Pritchard never got a pop until he came out with a podcast. You can show brother love all you want. He ain't get a pop. Kevin Von Erich never gets a pop in TV. But Goldberg does. And Kevin Von Erich would still wrestle circles around Goldberg.
It's got to count for something. First thing Brother Guy said when he heard Goldberg's music was, who asked for this? And the first thing Brother Hugh said he did was he turned it off. He went downstairs and he made brownies. Shout out to Betty Crocker. That's literally what he said.
That's exactly what I said.
I hope you ran them off.
So
you out there challenging us to go 1 mile every day, and then you got to be eating brownies.
You saw my stats. You see the stats.
I ain't checked the chat.
He's been
check it.
Up, though.
Go on, check it.
He's been doubling up.
Absolutely.
So we got to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the loudest voice? Who's the loudest audience? Now, of course, it's obvious that the live audience is going to always be the priority because that's where we're shooting our product. That's where we're displaying this. That's where we're seeing everything.
Mm-hmm.
But are we as a collective? And this is we're gonna come bring this to a close. Are we over the nostalgia acts, or? And I say nostalgia acts because it's like, is this a one-off? Is it a run? Like even John Cena admitted, like, bro, at this place in my life where I'm at physically, I cannot do this at a high level anymore. This is why I'm wrapping this up. I don't want to cheat the audience and cheat the fans out of, the best years of my life. And we talking about somebody that we used to criticize and say, even in his prime, he couldn't wrestle, but he knew how to entertain the heck out of us.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And he's openly admitted, said, I can't do this anymore at a high level. This is the lessons I'm giving you, what's left that I have. And after this, I'm done. And crazy part is John Cena can still show up with a t-shirt, with some jean shorts and show up and do a WrestleMania. Doesn't have to be a part of it. He don't have to do a match. He could just come out and say, welcome to WrestleMania. And then and somebody comes down there and says, what are you doing here? AA, and he's gone. Cut him a check. And he could do that if he wanted to.
And here's the bill.
He could do that for the next 20 years if he needed to.
He could.
Absolutely.
He could. You know what I mean? But like Goldberg's talking about trying to have matches and retirement matches, and y'all talking about a run. And I'm like, wait a minute. How far are we going? Will the wrestling fans turn on him and say, forget nostalgia if he gets in that ring and he embarrasses himself? When is it time to hang it up?
Now.
Why would you ask that? You knew he was going to respond.
I knew
and that's
he
why
was.
I said, that's why I said who asked for him, because, and from a wrestler standpoint, I think everybody should get, when you put time, energy, and effort into this business and you miss time with your family, surgeries, everything that you've been through, you put your heart and soul into that business, you deserve a send-off befitting of what you feel you deserve. Because that's probably what it is.
Absolutely.
Exactly, because something wasn't right, but I want to get the send off so I can be comfortable to retire. Because if not, I'm gonna be 96 years old still trying to get in the ring. Let them have that send off, right? And that's what I'm saying. But in the 2025 WWE, do we need the nostalgia? And I can only equate it to this: we were all over Okada, right? But when we went to the AEW show and we heard that coin drop, we were irritated that it was only for those few seconds.
Bingo.
Because we
definitely popped though. We definitely popped.
We're like, it was like, Okada. It was like, it stopped.
Oh, that's it.
So from a wrestling fan, hearing that dome, that feeling, you want that feeling. Just like I pray that Brother Hugh will be at a wrestling event and he had a glass shatter. I don't care if Stone Cold is 112 and he has a glass shatter. We all need to have that, but at the expense of, this is it. This is done. Let him have his send off. Let him have his moment. Okay, yeah, it might have been cheap, and this might be the best way to get him into the story, which is fine. But I'm still gonna have my 2 cents to say who asked for this at this time right now. This is when we're doing it. When we just coming off of some of the hottest storylines, some things are evolving, and we shifted in my mind from watching it to do this to get because every 2 weeks we got a pay per view. I mean, I'm sorry, PLE or a special event almost every
Yes,
2 weeks.
sir.
So it's like you trying to fill a lot of spaces in a small time, and maybe this was the play the whole time. We just didn't see it because we were wrapped up in everything else. So I'm personally tired of nostalgia because you've been giving me the good stuff. You've been giving me all that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like if every time I turned on AEW, all we saw was Jericho. We're like, please stop. It stopped. AEW is good.
You was gonna find a way to bring Jericho in the conversation one way or
No,
another.
no, you did earlier. You did earlier. He gave his props.
I definitely did.
No.
But think about it, like, and that's how we feel about like Jeff Jarrett. Give him his run so he can end his career on a high note, and Jeff Jarrett still can go. But
He's
at
acting
what
like he's
point are
not
you
going
saying
anywhere anytime soon.
You're right.
he might can't because if he start to slow down, you know what happens when they stop having that the business in their blood turns to like flour.
Well, you know what happened with Sabu? They were talking about, his last match with Joey Janelle was supposed to be his retirement match, but then he Rob Van Dam revealed that he had told him like, look, man, I felt pretty good. He might have took 2 or 3 more bookings after that, just because he was hot. You know what I mean? Like he was fresh off that moment, and he was like, oof, I feel pretty
I
good.
can still do this.
I think I
Riding
can do
that
this 2 or
high.
3 more.
Yep.
I can do this.
Here's the thing, if we're being honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
I understand what the guy is saying as far as being over nostalgia, because I definitely get it. But if we being real, we had a very cooling off period after WrestleMania. We almost went cold. Like we was happy for Jay, but that joint, like, it's been plenty of times where how many times Brother Hughes say, "Yo, WWE boring right now."
And definitely a couple weeks,
and we kind of got a kick in the joke with this. Like I'm not going
on Monday.
So. I've been enjoying things personally, but it hasn't been at the forefront where like everybody was talking about wrestling.
What happened on Monday.
And the thing is, because I'm thinking back to the Attitude Era, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that time, nostalgia would have been bringing in, if they would, let's just say, right, in WCW, right?
Mm-hmm.
If WCW wasn't around, or they went younger, nostalgia would have been bringing in Hogan, bringing in Savage, bringing in Shawn Michaels. We didn't have to because there were a plethora of mega stars. And I'm talking stars every time you turned on. I mean, every time you walked in the store, they on different magazines, not just wrestling magazines.
TV guides, all kind of stuff.
Right? We don't have that anymore outside of Roman, Cody, Bianca, Rhea. Jay was getting there.
Jay was on the Minute Maid box. I saw
him.
Right.
I was going to say, okay, getting there. He's there, right?
There you go. Yeah, getting there. I take that.
But if still, like CM Punk told me that the best thing is there's an embarrassment of riches. The problem is he's not young where he can just know he can work with everybody. But that's as workers, right? Mm-hmm. We still need them to be stars where we're going to say, you need to watch wrestling because of this person, right? It's cool to eat. Like you said, Jay's getting there, right? You'll tell your friend, hey, you need to watch wrestling now because this guy, Jay Uso, he walking around. How many times the Raw after Netflix? Mm-hmm. The people like that was a great tester of who's the next people up. The problem is that first show was so main event stacked because they was trying to pull people in that even when they came back, they still had to get to know some of the other people. So I think we'll get there. It would be nice to get to a point where we don't need nostalgia. But then by the time we get there, nostalgia is going to be Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, with people like Obafemi, Jasper Troy.
But see, the problem with that was Hollywood. It's too many events. Think about it. We were enjoying WWE when it was, I don't want to say spaced out. Every 2 weeks or something. I think that's what made us say, okay, what are we trying to get to?
Also, because we had, remember this time you was giving me tapes every month, once a month. So it was still as opposed to, but you're right. It is there. They are too condensed.
Two bunch of
yeah. Where you think about like how Saturday Night's Main Event, the original vision, because that was the filler show to
in between some of the major
pay-per-views for the Big Four.
Yeah. Right.
Because
they always come before that.
Yet. They were quarterly.
Not to mention Saturday Night Live need to take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was in that time slot.
Yeah.
It fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think at this point, wrestling will always, because that's their advantage also. Like me and Brother Hugh was having a conversation earlier this week about the greatest baseball player ever, Ken Griffey Jr., right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the Mariners can't insert Ken Griffey Jr. to taking the bat 6 weeks into the season, 12 weeks into the season. The Orioles can't call Cal Ripken out of retirement. So wrestling, UFC can't even call not Cain Velasquez.
Rampage Jackson.
All right, yeah, we'll say him. They can't call him in, for a nostalgia pop. So at this point, that's wrestling's advantage, because it's like, we can always call back some old schools.
And we can do it safely. Yeah.
Yeah, put them in a ring with a no pun intended, with a ring general, and like, let's see how good you are. See if you can carry this old timer. Ric Flair said it about Shawn Michaels. He's like, look, he called the whole match. He made me look good. I didn't have to do a thing.
This is one of them GTA side missions. This is what this is.
That's
you
what
got
it is.
You got the long-term storytelling with the multiple shows back to back to back, like the PLEs back to back like that. You need some filler content every once in a while. So throw Goldberg in there.
I'm about to watch that match.
No, seriously though, like
that might have been the nicest thing you said all day about Goldberg, Brother Hugh.
Oh, Brother Hugh don't like people who's over.
Oh man, you missed. Go back and watch the first 20 minutes. Oh my God, he was going in. I was sitting here flabbergasted. I said, I had no idea you felt this way.
Unpopular opinion: if Dolph Ziggler became a megastar, Brother Hugh wouldn't like him.
No, that's don't disrespect him.
He likes his hair. It's the hair and the white dude.
Don't disrespect.
He's admitted it.
Yeah,
because he had that beautiful soccer mom blowout hair in the white boots. That's the only reason he liked Dolph Ziggler.
He said,
he even told him that. He said, "I like your hair, not your white boots, just your hair."
Wow.
He told him the first time he met him. He was like, "Can I touch your hair? Does it always blow in the wind like that? Can you take it out of that man bun?" That was Hugh the whole time. Oh my goodness.
He giving those eyes.
Look, he's not lying.
I seen those eyes now. They're dangerous. When he start doing his eyes like that.
No.
Ask the girl who used to give Russian kicks.
No.
Shins hurt like a bug, boy.
Yeah, but then you gave her the eyes, she stopped.
Right. Put that foot down.
It sounds to me like the audience is split. And I feel like the idea of having these nostalgia runs for these GTA side missions, as Brother Hugh affectionately called them, which makes sense. The programming of WWE is so broad. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we everybody's kind of occupied. And of course, it makes sense to do a nostalgia act for a nostalgia event like Saturday Night's Main Event, right? So understandably so. Will Goldberg show up and put on a performance that we won't regret? We don't know, but there's no denying that what Goldberg gives us is kind of what we enjoy. But like I said,
what does he give us though?
I told you the music, the intro, the sparklers, breathing like a dragon, the punch, the kick, the explosions.
You're absolutely right.
And then after that, you holding your breath.
Breathing like a dragon. That's the
anything. It like you don't you hope it leads to a spear and a safe jackhammer, and we can all go home. Let's not prolong this.
Right.
We don't need on a plane where his equilibrium's off.
Yeah, we don't need.
That's what I said. Don't send him over to the what you call it. It's too much heat. The humidity gets to him. He can't think straight.
Don't go running full speed into a post and hitting yourself on the top of the skull at the age of 50-something years old. You just same thing Bret Hart's talking about. You're just being neglectful now at this point. You're not like this is it. This is a dance. Straight up. We're out here trying to put on the best dances possible.
And you're out here. Where they had Scott Hall when he tased him.
Yeah.
Third favorite.
Yeah, he talked about that.
Yeah, my first favorite Goldberg match. But yeah, he said, I think Public Enemy said that's what Bret Hart would do.
Yeah. So
the real question is, you think he's gonna hit the backflip?
No. Actually,
doing his backflip.
You better
Hollywood,
go back.
have you seen his backflip he's talking about?
No.
Goldberg
oh my gosh.
backflip in the ring before you spear you.
Is in the back. He's standing against the ropes like this. Goldberg falls down, gets up, hits a backflip on his knuckles, comes up to him, scoop slams him, and everyone's like, "So what was that for?"
What was that back? It just said looks cool.
Yeah, it was like
I thought it might look cool.
You're gonna post it in the group. It was like
it's already posted.
I said that's the Mandela effect. That never happened. He said no, it really did. I said I don't ever remember this happening.
That's the only moment I remember with Goldberg.
You said you those random backflips randomly.
I remember when he busted his head open coming to the ring. Remember because the spark
on the
was
door.
hit him.
Oh, that's
when the spark was in him.
Yeah.
But when the best Goldberg moment is when Jericho imitated him coming to the ring.
They say he was pissed about that. That's the funny part. Like on
that showed Jericho's WCW career.
Absolutely.
It really was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
They said you gotta stop. This is a big guy and you making fun of him. Stop it. You're gone.
He wasn't for it though.
You got people don't understand the business.
And that's what I'm saying, man. You killed careers. Jericho's supposed to be a megastar over there in WCW. But you had gumps like Hogan with his creative control. You had gumps like Goldberg.
Hulk Hogan never
over
used
there.
His creative control.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
He tried.
I'm gonna let you believe that.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Right. That I was gonna say.
Ever since I found out he tried to change the finish at Starrcade, and that's why that whole debacle, when Sting didn't kick out and they counted to 3, and then Bret Hart came out there. That was all. It didn't make sense then, but it was all audibles because confusion. Because day of the show, Hogan's like, "Yeah, this is about making money. Like it's not leading to anything else. So why does Sting have to win? Like Hogan, you selfish bastard. We spent the whole year leading up to this point, and now you don't want to drop the title and saying, "No, well, this is about." It's supposed to be about money, man. Like you're not telling me where this is leading to. Like, yeah, we talked about this already. Doesn't work for me, brother. It's Kevin Nash. He's always said, like, man, yeah, Hogan's got creative. Kevin Nash doesn't care. Hogan's got creative. He's not in everybody's business now. Hogan did it.
Oh,
he had creative clause. Every time you come in, that doesn't work for me, brother. All right, whatever. Kevin Nash didn't care. Pay me.
We didn't know if he was going to be the third man or not. Leading up to the show, we had no idea.
That's true.
Yeah. Mabel was going to be the third man.
That's one of Bruce Pritchard's T-shirts.
No,
Bischoff. Excuse me, Bischoff. Yep, 3 weeks.
I talk about Mabel tomorrow.
Oh boy, yeah, there you go. Because the King of the Ring special.
Mabel.
Oh my goodness.
Yo,
but look at that. So that's probably what you've been watching. Is that? Oh, okay, I was about to say, has not been opened?
So I lost one of the discs. This is a 3-disc set. I had lost one of the discs, so I rebought this. And then I found the other disc, and by that time the network was out and Peacock. So I was like, "Wait, I've never opened this." Yeah, so freshly sealed.
Listen, the way technology is going, it might be worth some money one day. But like I said, please follow us on all our social media. Well, platforms at Wrestling Room. Subscribe to our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube at The Wrestling Room. Don't forget Championship Culture every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on YouTube.com/The Wrestling Room playlist. Championship Culture, and also follow Championship Culture on Instagram at Championship Culture _. We are going to find out what's going on. Don't forget Brian H's Break It Down with Brian H. Keep it 100. King and Queen of the Ring. This top tier list. It debuts tomorrow. What time, Brian H?
12 o'clock Eastern time. 9 o'clock Pacific.
There you go. This is one that we're probably all going to look forward to, especially because King and Queen of the Ring is just around the corner as well. Only time will tell. We'll see what happens when it comes to Goldberg's. I don't know if this is a run. I don't know if this is a one-off. Who knows? But we're going to find out. We're going to find it together. And now that I know how Brother Hugh feels about it, I'm looking for you first. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy yourselves. Stay wrestling fans. We have to go. It's getting late. And Brother Hugh is probably exhausted having this long of a conversation about Goldberg. So we're sorry. We're out of here. We're not going to waste any time. Yeah, there you go. Right. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Freedom Day. We out of here. Peace.
Yeah, Cody Raheem.
Hey,
Mr. Brian Waters. have a problem.
For all exclusive shows and bonus material, subscribe to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/thewrestling_realm. You can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/thewrestlingrealm.